Now we begin sewing. The methods for sewing the heads and bodies of the two sloths are exactly the same. The positions for sewing the arms and legs are different. Next, start sewing. First, take out the head and face. Thread the face yarn onto a longer sewing needle. We need to sew the face onto the head from round 7 to round 14. First, find the side with slip stitches. That is, the place with a vertical line. Place this side at the back. Then, locate round 7 to 14. That is, in this round. Use a stitch marker to mark it. That is, in this round. Also take out a stitch marker and mark it. We need to sew the face between these positions. Place the face on the position we just marked. Check that the face is facing straight ahead. Take out another stitch marker. Secure the face to the head. Do the same here as well. Be careful not to make mistakes in the number of rounds. It's the same here too. This way, we have confirmed the sewing position. Next, sew the face onto the head along the outline. Start from here. Insert the needle into the stitch. Sew along the outline. Next, sew along the outline using the same method. After sewing one round along the outline, weave the excess yarn inside the fabric several times to secure the yarn. Cut off the extra yarn tail. The face is sewn on. Now we start sewing the eye circles. We need to sew the eye circles onto rounds 1 to 3 of the face. First, take out the left eye circle. Place it on the left side of the face. The edge of the eye circle should align with the edge of the face. We can use a stitch marker to secure it. This can prevent the eye circle from shifting during sewing. Then, start sewing. Thread the sewing needle through the longer yarn tail. Insert the needle at the edge of the face. Sew along the outline. After sewing around the outline once, thread the excess yarn to the back of the fabric. We'll also thread the shorter yarn tail to the back of the fabric. Tie the 2 yarn ends together. Cut off the excess yarn tails. One eye circle is sewn on. Please sew the eye circle on the other side using the same method. This is how the slope looks after sewing up the eye circles. Now, start sewing the body. Take out the body and thread the yarn tail on to the sewing needle. We need to sew the body between rounds 15 and 16 of the head. The face is at round 14. The next round is 15. So the position is between these 2 rounds. We start sewing a line from the back. After sewing 1 round, weave the excess yarn inside the fabric several times to secure the yarn. Cut off the excess yarn tail. The sloth's body and head are sewn together. Now, let's start sewing the arms. The positions of the two sloth arms are different. The red-brown sloth's left arm needs to be sewn along the extended line on the left edge of the face. The cocky sloth's right hand needs to be sewn along the extended line on the right edge of the face. Next, start sewing. Take out the arm on the pipe cleaner. We need to fold the pipe cleaner twice. Then insert it into the arm. If there is any excess end, twist it. Put it inside the arm. Be careful not to poke yourself. We need to sew the arm onto the body from rounds 11 to 13. The very top of the body is round 13. Locate rounds 11 to 13. Sew along the extended line of the face edge. We will fix the arm forward by spacing one stitch. Pull the excess yarn out from the back of the body. One arm is sewn on. You can bend the arm now. The other arm needs to be sewn with a 10-stitch interval. Out from here. This is the position. Next, sew the other arm using the same method. The other arm is sewn on. Pull the yarn out from the same stitch at the back. Tighten the yarn. Tie the two yarn tails in a knot. Cut off the excess yarn tails. Then chin tuck the yarn end inside the fabric. Two arms are now sewn on. We can't whisk the pipe cleaner to make them in a hugging shape. Now let's start sewing the legs. Take out the legs and a small amount of cotton. Stuff the cotton into the legs. If it's hard to stuff, you can use the crochet hook handle to help. It is enough to have cotton in the front part. We need to sew the legs onto the body between rounds 4 and 6. 2 stitches away from the edge of the arm. That is along this line. Find rounds for 2, 6. Here is round 4. Insert the needle from here. Its edge is 2 stitches away from the edge of the arm. Secure it forward by spacing 1 stitch. Pull the excess yarn out from the back of the fabric. One leg is sewn on. Please sew the other leg using the same method. The other leg is sewn on. Pull the excess yarn out through the same stitch. Then tie a knot. Cut off the excess yarn tails. Tuck the yarn end into the fabric. The legs are sewn on. Now, start gluing the eyes. Take out the flat bottom eyes and hot melt glue stick. We need to use the inner flame of the lighter to melt the hot melt glue stick. Be sure to use the inner flame part. This can prevent the hot melt glue from turning black. Use the bottom of the eye to touch the hot melt glue. Be careful not to touch the hot melt glue with your hands, just a little glue is enough. Then stick the eye onto the eye circle. Pull off the excess hot melt glue. This way one eye is glued. If there is any leftover hot melt glue, we can use scissors to trim off. Repeat the same steps for the eye on the other side. Heat the hot melt glue stick using the inner flame of the lighter. Then use the bottom of the eye to touch the hot melt glue. Please be careful not to touch the glue with your hands. Just a small amount of glue is enough. Stick the eye onto the eye circle. Press down gently with your hand. Remove any excess glue. The eyes are attached. Take a 6-inch piece of black yarn. Cut the yarn. Thread the yarn through the longer sewing needle. Insert the needle from the back of the fabric and pull it through. Pull the needle out from any spot on the front. We need to embroider the nose on the first round of the face. At this position, pull the yarn through to the corresponding spot. Embroider the nose in this way. Then, pull the needle out from the back at this position. We pull the needle out from the same spot. The nose is embroidered. We can use the needle to adjust the shape slightly. Tie a knot with the yarn tails at the back. Cut off the excess yarn tails. Pinch and tuck the yarn end inside the fabric. The nose is completed. Take a 6-inch piece of black yarn and cut the yarn. One strand of yarn consists of 4 thinner strands. Pull out one of these strands. Thread one strand through the sewing needle. Embroider the mouth on the first round of the face. That is, the round right below the nose. Also insert the needle from the back. Pull out the needle from any position at the front. Leave a length of yarn tail at the back. Embroider the mouth between these positions. Insert the needle slightly below the middle position. A horizontal yarn is above the yarn used for sewing. Insert the needle into the same stitch and pull it out from the back at the same stitch. Tighten the yarn. The mouth is embroidered. Tie a knot with the yarn tails at the back. Cut off the excess yarn tails. One sloth is completed. For the other sloth, please make it the same way.